Hi everyone, so today I'm going to be having a look at how to analyse in more depth, and to do that we're going to take a look at the prologue from Romeo and Juliet, because it's a really nice easy one to take a look at as an extract, and in order to do so what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at this analogy of going into depth. So it's this idea that we're looking at an extract kind of at face value and then kind of going kind of deeper and deeper into the meaning of it. But we're going to do it in quite a structured way. It's something that's quite easy to apply to lots and lots of different extracts. So to start off with then, we're going to, kind of see it at face value, so kind of pretend it's almost like this garden. Okay, so at face value it's just a bunch of words, usually arranged prettily to tell a story. So it's just this bunch of words this extract is. Okay, so we're going to ask ourselves, where does this extract come from? So this extract is taken from Romeo and Juliet. Okay, and now we're going to dig a little bit deeper. Okay, so we're going to try and understand what is actually happening in the extract. So what is going on? So this extract is taken from the prologue of Romeo and Juliet. It tells us what will happen in the play. So we're explaining kind of the purpose of it, explaining the purpose of the extract. Okay, but it's not enough just to know what's happening. We need to understand why it's been written. What is its, further on kind of, does it introduce this character or theme, going beyond its primary purpose? What else does it do? So this extract is taken from the prologue of Romeo and Juliet. It tells us what will happen in the play. It is therefore designed to pique the audience's interest in the narrative from the very beginning of the play, as they are told of the tragic events that will unfold. Okay, so we can see here that we're now able to, explain that we're showing that we know it's a play because we're talking about the audience interest in the narrative. We're getting into some AO2 terminology in terms of audience, narrative. We're looking at structural terminology with beginning. We talk about the form in terms of tragic events. So even though we haven't actually got to analyse any of the language per se yet, we are actually already going to be getting some good marks AO2 there. Deeper again, it's now time to spot the techniques that will help across the meaning in the extract. There are several techniques that we're going to want to identify here. Okay, so for example, Shakespeare uses binary opposites within the prologue, which, when we're looking at things that are completely opposite, it's similar in a way to oxymoron. So for example, where later on in Act 1 where Romeo says cold fire, but binary opposites can be further apart in an extract as well. So you want to think about like the Capulets and the Montagues as well as binary opposites. Okay, so now we're going to think about, is there positive or negative connotations to this? This step sometimes might come earlier on, might come later on. You might not do this step if you're spending longer looking at some of the other ones, but it's a really, I find positive negative connotations are such an easy way to talk about language. And to think about, at face value, how is the audience going to take it? And the quickest way to do that is to think, is it positive or negative? So for example, the simile, "Her hair was golden as liquid sunshine," has really flattering positive connotations. So used to saying them together. Okay, these binary opposites have negative connotations. Okay, so if we look at death marked love, for example. Okay, right, now it's time to dig even deeper. So you can see that, we're really trying to go into depth. That's what this is about. This is all about digging deeper. So how does it make the reader feel, imagine, think? In this case, it's the audience, however. Literature is designed to make us feel something. It's up to you as the students to work out how certain words make the audience feel. Do they picture something in particular in their minds? Why did Shakespeare, in this case, choose the particular words that he has done? For example then, examples such as death mark love, as I just said, make the audience feel confused. They want to learn how this blossoming love becomes death marked, as this is not a phrase often associated with love. Okay? Any point, if you want to pause, obviously I'm going to ask you to pause it in a moment anyway. Now let's think of at its core, why are we being asked, why are we being made to picture and feel these things? So we've kind of gone through, in a weird way, we've kind of gone through what, how, why, but I've just kind of done it in a bit more of a structured way. What do they relate to in the real world? What knowledge do you know outside of the text that you can bring in? For example, if you're writing about a poem where the poet's about a school, if you're reading one and the poet's focus is on the railings, that might be due to the fact that railings remind us of prisons. Does the poet think that schools are like prisons? So we're relating our outside knowledge into the text. So what we need to do is, we press pause, we need to go back and take a look at the prologue. It was on the second slide. Go back and take a look at that. And I want you to think about, can you annotate, is there anywhere on that prologue where you can think of some interesting historical context, maybe some real life ideas from outside of the text, for example, ideas pertaining to religion, mythology, gender, anything like that. Are there any big ideas outside of the text that you can relate to that? Then what we need to do is we need to have a go at adding to the paragraph that I just did on the previous slide. I want you to try and add in and finish off that paragraph for me. Okay, so I'm going to press, if you could just press pause and then have a go at that, just try and add to that paragraph, that'd be fantastic. Okay, then right, we'll carry on, presume that you've done that. So this is in essence what we want to do then when we're going through. This is what I would call soil analysis. So it's that idea that we're using these these stages when we're thinking about extracts, because what too many of us do, we'll write a little bit, or we'll go through a petal paragraph, for example, and we'll write a little bit, but we won't go into the depth that we need. So if you're really struggling to analyze quotes in depth, I know that a lot of my students, a lot of the time, I say, can you try and do it in more depth? If you try and go through this list of things that we can do, it kind of almost follows what, how, why, but it does it in a much more kind of structured way. So I strongly and this is kind of it in sheet form. I strongly suggest you have a go at picking out an extract from Romeo and Juliet, for example, or Christmas Carol, for example, and have a go at analysing it using this soil analysis. Okay, thank you very much.